When you live with someone for a long time, you start to overlook their little quirks, the way they leave dishes in the sink, or how they always manage to forget to turn off the bathroom light. You just get used to it. But my roommate, Jake, was different. It was not the usual kind of weird you expect from living with someone. No, this was something else entirely. It all started on a lazy Saturday morning. I was sprawled out on the couch, mindlessly scrolling through my phone, trying to decide how to spend my day off. My gaze drifted toward the kitchen, where Jake was making his usual breakfast. His routine never changed: crack an egg, scramble it up, slap a slice of bread on the plate, and mash it all together into some bizarre excuse for a sandwich. He did it with such intensity, as if he were crafting a 5-star dish instead of an unholy mess of food. Then something strange happened. Jake walks into the kitchen. He mumbled under his breath, his voice low and almost absent-minded. He steps lightly, avoiding the creaky floorboards. The rich aroma of coffee fills the air as he reaches for the cabinet. I frowned. Did I just hear that right? I turned my head slightly, watching him more closely. He was still moving about, completely absorbed in what he was doing, but his voice carried on, casual as ever. The cereal box wobbles as his elbow bumps it. He wonders for a second, should he put it back or leave it out for later? Jake? I finally spoke, my voice cutting through the bizarre moment. Are you talking to yourself? He froze, mid-motion, eyes wide like I had just accused him of something insane. What? No, wait, what do you mean? He shook his head, brushing off the question like I was the weird one. I studied him for a second, my mind struggling to piece it together. Was he narrating himself? Did he always do this? He genuinely seemed confused, like he had no idea what I was talking about. I decided to let it slide. Maybe he was just in a strange mood, or maybe he was messing with me. People do odd things when they think no one's watching. So I turned back to my phone and ignored it. But after a few minutes, it started again, this time out of nowhere. He sits down, shifting in his chair. The wood creaks beneath him, but it is a familiar sound. He reaches for the remote, hesitating just slightly before picking it up. Careful, Jake, don't knock over your drink. I stiffened. It was as if he was narrating his life like some kind of documentary voiceover, except he did not seem to realize he was doing it. He was not talking for me. He was talking for himself. That was the first time I noticed it. But it was not the last. The next day, I was sitting on the couch, trying to finish up some work on my laptop. Jake had his headphones on, blasting music like always, lost in whatever online class he had been chipping away at for the past 5 years. But today, there was something new. Between the beats of his music, his voice slipped through, narrating his every move like it was the most important scene in a movie. He sits at his desk, eyes heavy as they scan the screen. The weight of exhaustion lingers, but he pushes through. His fingers hover over the keyboard, tapping each key with precision, though doubt creeps in. Is he doing it right? Is it enough? I shifted in my seat, uneasy. It was getting harder to tune out. His words, low and steady, wormed their way into my thoughts, breaking my concentration. His eyelids droop, his focus slipping. He regrets starting this so late, again. That was enough. Jake, I called out, my voice cutting through his trance. You good, man? His head snapped toward me, eyes blinking like I had just yanked him out of a dream. He pulled off his headphones. What? What do you mean? I hesitated before answering. You are still narrating everything you do. His expression shifted, his brows drawn together. No, I am not. What are you talking about? He let out a nervous chuckle. Dude, you are starting to freak me out. I did not know how to respond. He looked genuinely confused, like I had accused him of something impossible. So I just nodded and let it go, even though the uneasy feeling in my gut did not go away. Over the next few days, it kept happening. At first, it was small moments, the way he narrated pouring himself a glass of water. Jake reaches for the cold glass, fingertips grazing the condensation before bringing it to his lips. The cool liquid soothes his dry throat. Then it became more frequent. He would pace the apartment, murmuring to himself about the way the air felt against his skin or how the floor creaked beneath his steps. And then, it got personal. He feels the frustration creeping in, a slow and steady irritation that has been building for days. I heard him mutter one evening as he passed by. The faucet runs too loud. It grates on his nerves. He cannot shake the feeling. At first, I thought it was just a weird habit, something quirky but harmless. But as the days passed, the narrations grew more detailed, more intense. It was not just about what he was doing anymore. It was about what he was thinking. What he was feeling. And that was when I realized this was not just some odd quirk. Something was seriously wrong. When you live with someone long enough, you start to overlook the little quirks that used to drive you crazy, like the way they leave dirty socks on the couch or their habit of eating cereal at odd hours of the night. But with my roommate, Jake, it was different. It was not just your typical roommate oddities, it was something else entirely. It all started on a lazy Saturday morning. I was sprawled out on the couch, scrolling through my phone, trying to decide how to spend my day off. My gaze drifted toward the kitchen, where Jake was busy making breakfast. He had his usual routine: crack an egg, scramble it up, toss a slice of bread in the pan, and mash everything together into some weird, unholy sandwich. He did it with such dramatic precision, like he was crafting some high-end gourmet dish. And then, something unusual happened. Jake is walking through the kitchen, he muttered under his breath, as if someone else in the room was narrating the moment. He did not even seem to realize he was speaking. He steps lightly, careful not to make the old floorboards creak. The rich aroma of coffee drifts through the air as he opens the cabinet. I blinked, unsure if I had actually heard him right. I glanced over at him, but he kept moving, completely lost in his task. His voice continued, calm and steady. The cereal box wobbles as he reaches for a mug. He wonders for a moment, should he put it back or just leave it up for later? "Jake," I said, my voice cutting through the strange moment, "are you talking to yourself?" He froze mid-motion, his eyes widening like I had just spoken in another language. "What? No, I am not. Wait, what do you mean?" He hesitated, then shook his head. I studied him for a moment, trying to wrap my head around what just happened. Was he narrating himself? Was this some new thing he did? He looked confused, but not like he thought anything weird was going on. I decided to let it slide. Maybe he was just in a weird mood. Maybe he was messing with me. We all have our moments. I turned back to my phone, pretending it had not happened. But a few minutes later, the narration started again, this time about something completely unrelated. He sits down, the chair creaking slightly beneath him. "Nothing new there," Jake murmured. He reaches for the remote, his fingers hovering over the edge of the table. "Careful, Jake, do not knock over your drink." I had no idea what to think. It was like he was starring in his own movie, except he was completely unaware he was the narrator. He was not doing this for anyone's benefit, not mine, not his own. He was just doing it. That was the first time I noticed it. But it was not the last. The next day, I was at my desk, trying to get some work done. Jake had his headphones on, lost in whatever music he had blasting. He had been chipping away at his online degree for 5 years now, juggling classes with his day job. But today, something was different. He was narrating every little thing he did, as if his life were some grand story. He sits at his desk now, eyes heavy, staring at the screen. He mumbled. He wonders if he is doing it right. His fingers hover over the keyboard, each keystroke making him question if he is actually making progress. I shifted in my seat, uncomfortable. I tried to focus, but his voice kept creeping into my thoughts. His concentration wavers. He has been at this for an hour now, and regret starts settling in. Maybe he should have started earlier. I could not take it anymore. "Jake," I said finally, "are you, okay?" His head snapped toward me, startled. He pulled off his headphones and blinked like I had just broken some deep trance. "What? What do you mean?" "You are still doing it," I said, unable to hide the concern in my voice. "You are narrating everything you do." Jake frowned. "What are you talking about?" "I am not doing that." He shook his head, scoffing. You are seriously starting to freak me out, dude. I did not know what to say. He seemed genuinely confused. I let it go, but the uneasy feeling in my stomach did not. The days passed, and at first, it was little things, like the way he narrated pouring a glass of water. Jake reaches for the cold glass, condensation beating along its surface. He lifts it to his lips, the cool liquid sliding down his throat. Then it was everything, his footsteps on the hardwood floor, the way the air changed when he opened the window. It was getting unsettling. The narrations grew more detailed, more personal. Soon, he was describing his own emotions. He is feeling irritated now. It has been creeping up on him all day. That same, nagging feeling that never quite goes away, he muttered one night as he walked into the bathroom. The sound of the faucet is grating. It is making him anxious. He cannot shake it. At first, I thought it was just some bizarre quirk. But then, it started to feel like something was seriously wrong. I tried to confront him a few more times, but every time, he would insist he had no idea what I was talking about. I am not doing that, he would say. I do not even know what you mean. One morning, I had enough. He was in the kitchen, the acrid smell of burnt toast filling the apartment as he narrated his breakfast like it was some kind of drama. He is making toast now, but wait. Something is wrong, Jake said. The bread is burning, but he is too slow to stop it. He is getting frustrated. But he will not admit it. The charred smell fills the air, but he ignores it. He always does that. Something in me snapped. Jake! What the hell are you doing? He stopped mid-bite, staring at me with wide eyes, crumbs of burnt toast falling from his lips. What? Why are you still narrating everything you do? I demanded, gripping the edge of the counter. Why are you doing this? He looked genuinely bewildered. I am not narrating anything. You are imagining things. And that was when I started to feel afraid. A deep, creeping dread settled in as I watched him, uncertain of what was really happening. Later that night, from my room, I heard him murmuring again. I leaned closer, straining to hear. His words were muffled but unmistakable. He's getting suspicious, too suspicious. I cannot let him interfere. I have to do something soon. A chill ran down my spine. Was he still narrating? Or was something much darker taking hold of him? I felt my stomach knot. You're still narrating everything, Luke, like literally, right now, I pressed, my voice shaky but firm. You've been doing it for weeks now, and it's not just harmless commentary. It's getting... I struggled to find the right words. It's getting dangerous. It's not healthy. I'm worried about you. Luke is hearing the words, but they're slipping past him. He can't stop thinking about how this conversation feels. Why is his roommate acting like this? Why is he making him feel like this? Doesn't he get it? Luke doesn't need help. Luke doesn't need to change. He's not the problem. His voice had taken on that eerie, detached quality again, like he was slipping further away with every syllable. My heart pounded. Luke, please, listen to me. You're not okay. This isn't normal. I'm not trying to attack you, I want you to get help. I want you to be okay. Luke watches his roommate, sees the frustration, the concern etched on his face. It's almost laughable. Doesn't he see? Doesn't he get it? He's the problem. Luke is done with his opinions. It's time to act, time to fix this once and for all. His voice had changed. The tone, the pacing, everything about it felt different now. Darker. More insistent. My breath came quicker, panic creeping up my spine. Luke feels his anger bubbling to the surface. He just keeps repeating the same thing over and over. But it's getting under his skin. He can feel it. The irritation, like a tickle in the back of his throat. But then it grows. It swells. He wants to scream. My hands trembled. Luke, stop. Just stop. This isn't you. I know you're upset, but... Luke can't take it anymore. The words are too much. The pestering is too much. Maybe if he makes it stop, it'll be over. If he gets rid of the problem, everything will be okay. Something inside me snapped to attention. My instinct screamed at me to move. I took a step back, my pulse thundering in my ears. Luke, stop. I'm begging you to listen to me. But he was gone, lost in the current of his own thoughts, his own narration. His voice, once a mindless quirk, now carried a terrifying certainty. Luke's body tenses. He feels his hands shaking, the nervous energy building. The anger is making him feel stronger. He doesn't need anyone's help. He doesn't need anyone. His eyes lifted to meet mine, and the breath caught in my throat. His expression was unreadable. Not fear. Not hesitation. Just something cold. Something final. I'm not the one who needs help, you know, he muttered, and then, as if he were following a script only he could see, he turned and walked toward the kitchen. Not rushed. Not frantic. Just deliberate. I didn't move. Couldn't move. My body locked in place as I listened to his narration continue, each word hammering into my skull like a drumbeat of dread. Luke stands, his body stiff but his mind already elsewhere, consumed with thoughts he can't stop, thoughts that are louder than his roommate's voice. He moves toward the kitchen, feeling the coldness of the floor beneath his bare feet. He wonders if his roommate is still talking, still trying to convince him of something that doesn't matter. My eyes flick toward the front door. Run, my mind whispered. Run now. Luke opens the fridge, the cold air hitting his face. He grabs a carton of milk, not because he's thirsty, but because it's an action to fill the void, a distraction. He wonders if the milk will be sour, but shrugs. He'll deal with that later. What the hell was he doing? My whole body screamed for me to bolt, but fear had me frozen in place, watching as his narration turned sharper. Luke places the milk back in the fridge. Then, silence. A thick, suffocating pause before his voice returned, lower now, almost reverent. Luke turns his attention to the knife block on the counter. He looks at the knives, fingers brushing lightly over the cool metal, contemplating. He feels something stir inside him, something dark. A sense of power, of control. He doesn't feel scared anymore. He doesn't feel lost. He feels focused, determined. The sound of metal scraping against wood set my heart into overdrive. A blade sliding free. Luke grips the knife tightly, the cool handle pressing against his palm. The weight of it is comforting. He looks at the blade, not with fear, but with a sense of purpose. I felt my knees go weak. Luke! My voice cracked, barely a whisper. What are you doing? But he wasn't listening. His mind was elsewhere, lost in his narration, his own twisted reality. Luke walks back into the living room, holding the knife in his hand. His thoughts swirl around him, chaotic and sharp, like the blade in his grasp. He wonders if his roommate knows what's coming, if he's figured it out yet. But he's not sure it matters. It's too late now. My body finally obeyed. I ran. Luke stops right in front of me, the knife hanging heavy in his grip. His expression is unreadable, but there's no hesitation in his eyes. Whatever part of him I once knew, the friend I had lived with for so long, is gone. What's left is something else entirely, cold, detached, and terrifyingly certain. Luke, no, I stammer, my voice barely more than a breath. Please, put the knife down. He doesn't answer. He just stands there, as if we're living in two separate realities, his voice continuing to fill the space between us. I take a shaky step forward, trying to keep my hands steady even as my whole body trembles. Luke, you don't have to do this, I plead. Just talk to me. We can figure this out. But he keeps narrating, his voice eerily steady. Luke isn't listening. He feels something inside him crack, the tension snapping like a rubber band stretched too thin. He's done with words. He's done with waiting. It's time. The moment the last syllable leaves his lips, he lunges. I react on instinct, grabbing for his wrist, trying to twist the knife away, but his grip is unrelenting. There's a new strength in him, fueled by something I don't understand, something I'm afraid to even name. My pulse is hammering, my breath coming in short, frantic bursts as we struggle. The blade glints under the dim light, the only thing separating me from whatever Luke has become. Then, suddenly, I break free. I don't think, I run. Behind me, his voice follows, smooth as ever. Luke watches as his roommate turns and runs. It's almost funny, really. He thinks he can get away. He doesn't realize it's already too late. His footsteps are soft, almost too quiet, but I know he's right behind me. I don't look back. I can't. My hands fumble at the door, slick with sweat, slipping over the handle before finally wrenching it open. The moment I hit the hallway, I bolt. And then, pain. White-hot and searing. My breath leaves me in a violent gasp, my body nearly buckling under the sudden, burning sensation in my back. I don't stop. I can't. I force my legs to keep moving, even as every step sends fresh agony coursing through me. Luke doesn't need to chase anymore. He's already won. His voice is softer now, but the words send ice through my veins. I push harder, my vision tunneling, the only thing in my mind the singular need to survive. The street outside is a blur of neon and shadow, the cold air biting at my skin. The corner store is up ahead, glowing faintly in the distance like a beacon. Almost there. I throw myself at the door, the bell overhead ringing violently as I stumble inside. The clerk behind the counter looks up, eyes wide in alarm. Call the police, I rasp, barely able to get the words out. Please. Call the police. The room sways around me, my vision swimming in and out of focus. The last thing I remember is the sound of sirens in the distance, the cold tile floor rushing up to meet me. When I wake up, the world is blindingly white. The rhythmic beep of a heart monitor fills the sterile air. My back aches like hell, every breath a painful reminder of how close I came to dying. I try to sit up, but a sharp stab of pain forces me back down. A nurse notices and rushes over, placing a hand on my shoulder. Easy now, she says with a soft smile. You've been through a lot. My throat is dry, my voice barely a whisper. Luke, I croak. Did they find him? Her smile falters, just for a second. You should rest, she says, dodging the question. The police will come by later to talk. She adjusts my fore, humming softly under her breath. Just as she turns to leave, she pauses at the door, looking back at me with a curious expression. You know, you've been doing this funny thing, she says, almost like it's an afterthought. You've been sitting up in bed and talking. Having whole conversations. But when we come in, you stop. My breath catches in my throat. My skin goes cold. What do I say? She shrugs. Hard to tell. Mostly just one side of a conversation. She chuckles lightly. It's almost like you're narrating a movie or something. The room feels smaller, the walls pressing in. I don't remember doing that. Before I can respond, she gives me one last polite smile and walks out, leaving me alone with the steady beep of the monitor and a sinking weight in my gut. A million questions swirl in my head, but one rises above the rest, standing out with sharp, terrifying clarity. Was Luke really gone? Or was he still here, inside my head,